Okie dokie. If you're here trying to figure out how to do a false wall, well, I've got one right here behind my head. And I've got the camera up 10 feet up in the air, and we're gonna get this shot. I'm on the ladder right now, and I'm gonna film how I do this. And I have another example, which I'll link at the end of this video, on a whole different type of false wall if you're curious on 2 different types. I've got this wire problem coming out right here, and old water damage. That's just the water on the wallpaper that's discolored. That's not a problem really, other than the coloration. But I'm going to show you how to build a false wall to get around that, and I'm going to branch off and make a little custom light. I'm going to splice this wire right here, make a custom light come out of that, which will be in a whole separate video. I'm going to make both of these videos at the same time, so if you're curious on any of that, follow in and stay close. These are all 2x4s, and what I need to do is I need to rip a 2x4 right here, because this is about 3 inches instead of 4 inches, so I have to cut the edge of a 2x4 off all the way longwise so that it fits in underneath this trim board up here. You see that continues around the border around the house. And what I'm going to do is put that in there first, and then cap it with a 2x4 on top, and then notch out around that and put a 2x4
here and do a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Boards right here. I've got the one ripped, and you can see it's thinner than the other 2x4 because I've cut this whole edge off right here, all the way down with my skill saw. And then there's the next piece I've notched out with also my skill saw, a piece of wood right here that can go around that wire. And then I've got just one cut to length, and these are all cut to the length that we need. So here we are again. Here is it up close. I'm making a video on this light, this little pole chain light. Currently, I'm making a video on that if you're curious on that inside my electrical playlist, and I'll put it at the end of this video. But anyway, I'm coming up. Okay, so what I have here is at the top of my cabinets, I've ran a 2x4 long wise all the way down. I have a left board from top to bottom and a right board from top to bottom. Okay, right here, there's a wire coming out, and I've cut this, notched this out with my skill saw. You could use a handsaw or whatever to cut all these boards. I built my first house with a handsaw and a hammer, actually, every single board. But you can cut this out, and all I've done is add another board in right here for the sheetrock in the middle. I'm also probably gonna add one more here and probably one more right here, studs. All right, here it is right here, the piece of sheetrock, and I had to cut a little strip right here so it can slide up over that. And I'm gonna take you in close and show you how all this is. There is another board I put in right here, and another one I put in right there, you can see. So now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across the front here. And over here, what I'm gonna do, remember, is take a pencil, and I'm gonna mark where my studs are. One on the ceiling, and one below. Okay, so you can see the sheetrock is hung now, but these end pieces over here and over here, I gotta do that, and I also have to trim this all out right here. Also, around here, I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mud and tape all that where it just looks like a pipe coming out of the wall. I'll bring you in close in a second. I've got that 2x4 going across the top right here. I have the trim board, it's a 1x2 going across right there. 1x2s going down right here that I primed already. I'm gonna have to put white paint on all this trim, even those that I already primed. All this needs to be painted white. And I have a little bit of mudding to do on those 2 screw holes, which I have a video on that inside my sheetrock playlist. But this trim now matches, you see, going around the border at the top. And the light comes out right here. I have to mud and tape that area. So, but before I do that, I'm showing you what it looks like. I've put the trim and cut it right over that. Okay, that's all it is. And then you can see from underneath this board, and I put that board there, and the one I ripped, or that is the one I ripped right there. Now I'm about to paint all this green and all that white and do some mudding, and I'll bring you right back. Well, this was only about 75 bucks to do everything here. Paint, buy all these 2x4s, everything. And I'm gonna have a video on that light here in a couple days. And also, I got everything primed, trimmed out. I had to put a little piece in right here. This little corner 2x4 right there to fill that gap. I got everything painted. This, I'm gonna skim coat, do a video on skim coating. I'm gonna skim coat over all this. I'm gonna make a video on that. I've already started right here. Still, I'm gonna put caulking around that, but you can see that turned out really well. These are just straight shelf 2x4s that I have put screws in from inside here, behind this shelf. Right there, you can see all those screws. Okay, that's what's holding in these. These are just 2x4s, free floating shelves. Other unit. Anyway,